the set of all points whose distances from the focus and directrix are the same. It's so nice to have a definition, and there's the definition. Once you have a definition, there's no question about what a parabola is then, right? Like now everybody has complete, full understanding. They're just words, right? You'd probably like a picture, wouldn't you? Mm-hmm. Like, what is this focus thing? What is this directrix thing? And this is where Nevaeh will, give me a little bit of a grade. We'll see if she's harsher than Clara or not. But suppose that we have a graph, and I draw this parabola. There are certain aspects of the parabola that we have always known and that we're going to review at this time. One would be the vertex. We've learned about the vertex before, right? The focus is a point that sits on the inside of the parabola. It sits on the inside of the parabola. The directrix is a line that sits on the outside of the parabola. The focus, the directrix. And the definition of the parabola is all points. So I'm going to put a point there, whose distances from the focus and the directrix are the same. So if I drew a perfect parabola, that means that the two black segments that I drew should be equal in length. And this is where Nevaeh grades me. Okay, I get a score out of 10. Would you agree that they are not, in fact, the same length, that one is longer than the other?
Yes.
Okay, so what are you going to give me?
6.
6? Okay, all right. I was getting prepared for 5.5. Anything below that I was getting a little bit angry about. I might petition, you know what I mean? Go through the petition process for grading. But okay, 6. I'm going to try to do better in my last example, but I'd agree that's probably about a 6. Yeah. Not really close. You see, if I were to draw a perfect parabola in this situation, it should be a little bit wider. I mean, didn't you always have kind of that question, how wide should we actually make the parabola? And that's what we'll kind of learn within this regard. So let's go up to the beginning here. Let's look at the equation for a vertical. We're going to do the vertical today. We'll do the horizontal tomorrow. The equation for a vertical parabola is y is equal to a times x minus h, that quantity squared, plus k. That's the equation for the parabola. Is that new, or have we seen that before?
Seen it before.
Exactly. The direction, we know, if A is positive, it goes up. And if A is negative, it goes down. We have this other thing with the parabola called the vertex. The location of the vertex is the horizontal shift and the vertical shift. So the vertex is located at HK. Once you've identified HK, it's easy to see what the axis of symmetry is. The axis of symmetry is that vertical line that divides the parabola in half, and it goes right through the vertex. Do you remember what the equation is for a vertical line, if it's x equals or y equals?
X equals.
It is x equals, so it's x equals the x value of the vertex, which is h. X equals h.
Why do we not take a negative h?
Because of the subtraction sign?
Parentheses, yeah.
Yeah, good question. I'm gonna try to answer that in a fairly quick fashion. But if you don't like my answer, we can push a little further later on. Remember when you had that circle question once upon a time? You're maybe taking a test, maybe even yesterday, and it asked you what is in fact the center of that circle, and you said it's +3, -4 with a radius of 4. Mm-hmm.
And we say that the shift is going to be, opposite of what's there.
Yeah.
So, and what I like to think about is what number would you plug in to make 0?
3.
3. So 3 is the shift. The number you plug in to make 0 is -4. So it's really not this number so much as the number that would generate 0. That's what we're really finding. So does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as we move back here, now I have these other things to find: the focus, the directrix, and the length of the lattice rectum. Well, it turns out that the focus, it sits p units away from the vertex, and the directrix sits p units away from the vertex as well. They both sit p units away. Now, every single person here should have a question going off in their mind. And what is your question?
What's P?
Yeah, what's P? How do we find it? Okay, well, here's how we find P. We take the A value, which sits in front of the squared term, and we set that equal to 1/4P. So that's an equation, which, by the way, you actually get to make your own sheet of notes for this test. So something like that is something you're going to want to write down. If you want to basically copy this front page onto your notes, you can do that. If you're like, hey, Mr. Gens, I'd like to use this last page that you've given us, go ahead. I find that people do best when they make their own sheet. You don't get to put example problems, but you can write your own explanations for how you graph and how you generate stuff. So that will be up to you. One page, front and back. Great, P units from the center. Suppose I move P units up from the vertex. Is that going to change the H value of the vertex or the K value of the vertex?
Okay.
So I take H and I add P. Whoop, I'm sorry. Try that again, Mr. Gens. I take K and I add P to it. Then the directrix, it is a horizontal line, and a horizontal line has the equation of y equals. And notice that this one is P units down from the vertex, so it's going to be K minus P. And finally, we have this weird thing, length of lattice rectum. Always makes people awkward when we say it. Rectum is the Latin word for segment. So if you think about your biology, that makes sense, right? It's a segment of your body, right? And lattice means horizontal. So the lattice rectum is a horizontal segment that shows how wide we make the parabola, okay? The length of the lattice rectum. And the way that we compute that is it is the absolute value of 4 times P. So when you find P, you can find the focus and the directrix. Now, you need to sort out how you kind of use your notes here. And so, for example, let's say that Juan is looking at this. He's like, okay, I'm picturing myself coming up for the test, like what notes am I going to want to use? Sometimes people just like cut this out, make use of that, and they put it on their paper. That's fine. But we're going to do one example problem. I want you to think of what would you need as you were going through this problem. Because I don't actually like to look at the notes I made. I don't like that equation y is equal to k minus p. I never, ever, ever use it. I'll show you the process that I use, okay? I start with the direction, and I have the vertex. I have the axis of symmetry. I'm going to have the focus, the directrix, and the length of the lattice rectum. Those are my 6 pieces. Everybody okay? All right. Let's start with the basic. What is the direction? It is up because the 1/8 is positive. What is the vertex?
-2, 3.
Good. Some people like to generate all of these and then sketch the graph. I would deter you from doing that. I like to sketch the graph as soon as I have 1 point. So I'm going to start making my graph. I know Nevaeh is going to judge me right now. She seems to be a pretty fair grader. I got a 6. I'll take that 6 right now and try to do better this time. So I'm going to go back 2 and I'm going to go up 3. 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3. And there's my vertex. So I actually like to draw the axis of symmetry now. That axis of symmetry is going to be up and down, and it's going to divide this parabola right in half. So that's a vertical line. What's the equation for a vertical line? X equals or Y equals? X equals, it's going to be X equals the vertex, -2. Notice how I name it after I draw it. That's my preference. Now that I have these three left, these all involve the value of P. So I'm going to need to use the equation A is equal to 1 over 4P. What is my A value? 1/8. That equals 1 over 4P. I solve that by cross multiplying. I get 4P is equal to 8. So P is equal to 2. Once I have that, it's easy for me to put together the rest of my graph. The focus is going to go 2 units up. Name that coordinate. What's that coordinate I just put down?
-2, 5.
-2, 5. That's my focus. The directrix is going to go 2 units down. And it is a horizontal line. What's the name of that line?
Y equals 1.
And now the length of the lattice rectum. The lattice rectum is going to be the absolute value of 4 times P, and P is 2. So I get 8. So if you think about it, we're going to be 4 units that way, and we're going to be 4 units this way, for a total of 8. So as I mark out my axis, I'm going to go 4 units to the right. I'm going to go 4 units to the left. And I'm going to stretch it across from one side to the other. My parabola starts at the vertex, and it goes up through the sides of the stretch of the lattice rectum. And it gives me an idea that the parabola should be about that wide. And now I'm kind of nervous because I know I'm going to get graded, but I've admitted to the fact that I'm not perfect. And so I know I did my best, right? And Nevaeh never asked me to be perfect. She just said to do my best, right? Yeah. So that's all I'm going to do. Just going to do my best. So I'm going to pick a spot right here. And I know that the distance from there to the directrix is supposed to be the same as the distance from the focus to that point.
Wait, so you just like picked a random spot?
I did. Any spot I picked, they should be the same. Now, I'm going to help you a little bit, Nevaeh. I'm going to go ahead and select that piece right there, and we're going to tilt it. And we're going to bring it right back on over here. So, it wasn't perfect, was it?
That's a solid 7.6. I'll go 7.9.
Oh, she's ready
That's
to
the
debate,
most.
huh?
8? You didn't eat it up.
Do I get-
Okay.
Is there any way I could get some extra credit?
Not really.
All right. And
You already color coded it and everything, so it looks nice.
Okay.
You're just not.
Yeah, it's not as accurate as I would want to be. And that's just the way it is. So
my goal, and so people ask, do we have to do that during our assignment? Absolutely not, you guys. I just try to have fun, you know. You didn't have to pay any money getting the show for today, did you? It's like 3 tickets, let's go. But when I do the other 3 problems, it's my goal that I'll do one that's absolutely perfect. So we'll let you guys kind of take turns who gets to judge and whatnot. So I wouldn't even really start your assignment tonight. I would just kind of wait till tomorrow when we go through the other 3 examples. Because we still need to lay out the horizontal and go from there. Okay? But we've got the introduction taken care of. Very good? Very good. That's our lesson for today. I gotta get ready for the junior hires that are